or presents Inamorata Consequence.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
This is Gwen Static.
And we've got to Fudge the Whale, and you can't have any.
It means paramour. It means a woman you're romantically involved with.
Okay.
So I'll just do the work for you. And just tell you what the obscure dictionary word is that's in the title of the episode.
Knowing what it means doesn't make me like it more.
No. Yeah, I can see Doc Hammer's stink all over this episode, honestly.
There's a lot of something that I was thinking about. I know I keep complaining about this naming convention, and I'm going to continue. One of the things is we keep marveling how this season was in 2018. Mm-hmm. Big Bang Theory, totally running at 2018.
Yeah.
The idea that these were Big Bang Theory knockoff titles should have been obvious.
Yeah.
To anybody involved, and they had to have intended it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Welcome back, Gwen.
Hey, it's great to be back.
Yeah.
It's great to have you. How you been? In as much detail or as little detail as you want to get into on the Venture Brothers podcast.
Been pretty good.
Cool.
Elden Ring came out. It was pretty good. Last time I was on, we recorded that the day Elden Ring dropped. So we sat there kind of all antsy in anticipation to play the game.
We did.
Just the absolute professionalism from these fuckers is what people listeners are probably thinking.
We're really happy to have you back. What made you want to hop on this episode?
It is purely the negotiations between OSI and the guild. Like, that is the gold in this episode. And on revisit, it is much more of a meandering episode than I really remember it being.
It can't support 3 plot lines very well.
No. Yeah. And I'll get to it, but as much as I'm happy to see Dermot back, not like this.
No, this.
It's a weird Dermot closure. Like there are things I like about this quite a bit, that happen in this episode. Like I generally like this episode, but it is real messy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm still very positive in the grand scheme, but messy is the key word here.
It's Duckfeed positive. We're generally like, oh yeah, this is good, this is pleasant, but we sound like we hate it.
And we're going to talk a lot of sugar about the good parts of this. Mm-hmm. I think absolutely.
Yeah.
This episode written by Doc Hammer originally, and you can tell by the shitty title. Mm-hmm. Originally aired on September 2nd, 2018. And this has 3 plots, as we mentioned. The first one is the Second Summit of Tolerance, where they're going to put the Treaty of Tolerance 2 put together between the Guild and the OSI, held at the ruins of the old Venture compound.
Yeah, in a tent set up in the old Grand Hall, where the people were waiting for their Order of the Triad arching auditions.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, Dermot came back.
Yeah, Hank reunites with him.
And then he disappears. That's okay. Like Dermot's story has mostly been told, but I'm a little bit sad because I like Dermot.
Yeah.
Rusty, this is a good Rusty competence episode.
Yes.
Rare episode where he does good work. Mm-hmm. And then in a nice nod to continuity, Dean tries to check in on Ben from the Halloween special. Instead meets a different model of helper.
Yeah.
It's another helper, Red Helper, like Red Hulk.
Come on.
Hopefully better than Red Hulk, right?
I'll defend Red Hulk. You guys ready for this? I'll defend Red Hulk.
Okay.
I think that comic, the original Jeff Loeb comic, is Jeff Loeb saying, I'm going to look at every Silver Age idea and make it stupider.
Okay.
And I think it's actually pretty fun.
I don't know. Did you, Gwen, you enjoy comics. Did you know that there's a thing called Composite Hulk that is half green and half Red Hulk? They sell an action figure of him.
That's not Jeff Loeb, I don't think. Where did that come in?
I'm going to jump into traffic.
No, Cole, hold on. So in Blackest Day, Brightest Hulk.
Crisis on Infinite Hulks.
Anyway.
Anyway,
New Helper is clearly just an excuse to get Rise Darby on, and you can see why. He's just a international treasure.
oh yeah. Oh, just a perfect voice performance. And at any time Rhys Darby shows up, I'm like, yay, I clap.
I love New Zealand.
Yeah,
I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows with my girlfriend, and I think that might be the best country.
Oh yes, and it's where you can survive the global warming.
Oh yeah,
if you can get in right now.
We have, as a band, we keep kind of vaguely talking about moving there because of Flying Nun Records, and it just being like, oh yeah, that's the kind of music we like to make. Yeah, and also it culturally seems really good. You know, and the accent is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah,
it's a great accent.
Yeah,
absolutely.
People gave us shit when we said that before, but listen to him. Listen to it. Come on.
Oh, he's delightful. Yeah, Rise Darby specifically is delightful. Like when I watch Flight of the Conchords, it's his lines that really get in my head.
It's really good. And mating, just beautiful.
Before we begin, your biscuits have arrived. How do you just not love that? Anyway, I very rarely.
Have you seen the toothbrush fence? I love the toothbrush fence as my favorite running visual gag. It's like New Zealand's national treasure.
One very quick tangent before we get off Rise Darby. I very rarely get to bring this movie up in natural conversation. There is a New Zealand film, I believe. The director is New Zealand. It's called Guns Akimbo. Okay. And Rise Darby plays the magical hobo opposite Daniel Radcliffe. And it's very good. It's in a visual sense. Don't go in for a plot and a script. It's just like goofy action, but it is a visually compelling movie. And Rise Darby is a scene stealer. He's in like 2 scenes.
Nice.
Fascinating. I saw some maniac online pitch Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine. And I was like, that's horrible.
No! He could do like short Cyclops.
Yeah, something in half a Cyclops.
Yeah,
something in the top half of one of those tank reavers. But like nothing. Yeah,
he is not beefy enough. He's so. What's the word? Gamey.
He's gamey. He looks like he would taste like a cut of deer. He's a venison boy, is what he is.
Yeah, that's just like wish casting because of his, they're thinking that his rebrand has gone too far. Doing
Maybe.
playing weird, doing weird movies with, off-putting characters, ever since he played that corpse that farts.
The farting sled. I like that he's doing that. I think it's really I think it's very cool to come out of this horrible, gigantic franchise really well adjusted and then just make weirdo art movies for the rest of your life. I like absolute king move. He just doesn't look angry or strong enough to be a Wolverine. Yeah. I think that is insanity casting.
Yeah, I just did, man. We got as far away as we could with Hugh Jackman. We should probably head more in the direction of actual Wolverine.
What's Danzig doing nowadays?
Danzig? I saw somebody pitch Matt Berry and I kind of liked it, but that's anywho. This is the show where welcome to Days of Future Cast, where we talk about this stuff.
We've definitely done that before.
100%. The title of this, the Inamorata Consequence, like a paramour, the consequence of a paramour, refers to Doc bringing back the OSI agent and the guild stranger who are in love. But originally, there's a draft where Dean ran into Triana again.
Yes. Yeah. It was supposed to be him passing through and them just kind of realizing that there is nothing there now that they've kind of had a chance to be apart and mature.
He also in the commentary calls Hank's relationship with Dermot a romance, which I don't like.
Yeah.
That seems wild to me.
Yeah. A little stretchy on the definition of romance there. And he also says in the commentary that nobody cares about the Dean plot, including him. I don't know. Maybe he's speaking actuarially. Maybe he has a better sense for how stuff tests. There's a potential for a good Dean plot if they try it. They just don't.
In the season, for sure. I like what happens with Dean in this episode a lot.
Yeah.
This is high quality Dean to me. I kind of forgot that he gets this character stuff because the conference takes up so much of my brain space for this episode. But I like Dean in this one.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
It's very sweet. It's very sweet what happens at the end of this.
Yeah. Good moment. The Fudgy the Whale, the Cakey Confection, makes a cameo appearance in this episode. And because of that, they got a free ice cream cake. The creators of this, that was shaped like Brock's head. And Adult Swim actually had a contest for 4 different Fudgy the Whale cakes. Carvel cakes that looked like different Venture Brother characters.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. I would like to have won I don't know what I would have done with like a Dean cake. Eaten it, but then that would have been a huge mistake because one of a kind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, you can't have it and eat it too. And also with ice cream cake, you can only have it for so long. Yeah.
Have you two seen the Fudgy the Whale CGI mascot?
No.
The honest answer is I just learned that Fudgy the Whale is a product.
He's more than a product.
Yes, he's a lifestyle.
Yeah, he's a lifestyle. Men want him. Women want to be him. Women want him. Men want to be him. Non-binaries have no opinion on Fudgy the Whale. You heard it here first. Look at this little CGI fella. Look at this skipper. Look at this carve of beef.
Look at that.
Beef.
Yeah. Huh, just waving at us. Seems to be into it, huh?
I love Cookie Puss as well. You scroll down a little bit. Cookie Puss is a real nightmare.
Oh no! Why does Fudgy the Whale have legs?
I don't know. Cookie Puss was born in 1972.
Was human. Fudgy the Whale's spirit animal is human.
Oh, that's real weird.
Yeah. Don't like that.
Cookie Puss doesn't have that, but has a favorite holiday, which is all of them. And birthplace is Planet Birthday. Is there a Carvel Cookie there? Fudgy the Whale video game, so we can do a deep dive on this on Abject Suffering.
Yeah, I need more info about Fudgy.
Favorite celebrity: Jimmy Fallon and Kelly Ripa. Fudgy, you weirdo.
They sell game day cakes.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I need to do a wiki dive on this bad boy. So the prevalence, so I only know about Fudgy the Whale and Cookie Puss because of an offhanded reference in it's the basis of jokes in The Office and in Archer. There are offhanded references to that. It's very much a Northeast thing. And I think that because of the media prevalence of New York, that particular media market in general, I think that it just Carvel's cultural cachet has kind of slipped out, slipped beyond where people would normally find out about them. We didn't have any Carvel here.
No, I've never seen a Fudgy the Whale. I would like to. There's no part of it that doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah, I'd eat a Fudgy the Whale.
I would fuck up a Fudgy the Whale right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, would I eat an ice cream cake right now? It's hot.
One last note about CGI Fudgy here. He has a captain's hat implying a ship.
Yeah.
He's got legs instead of a tail, and he has arms instead of fins. This is not an aquatic creature.
No,
Terrifying.
There's a land-bound whale.
He would need a ship.
Yeah. Well, if he's going to go overseas, at all, like Fudgy gets to Europe. Fudgy does London.
Fudgy does an American Fudgy in London.
Yeah, American Fudge Wolf in London town. The boys seem to like each other again on the commentary.
That's good.
Which is good. It doesn't feel like they're constantly about to kill each other.
Yeah,
which is nice.
I don't like it when dad and dad are fighting. Yeah.
But other than that, not tons of little production details. This episode is mostly like a couple lore. Like there's a lore bomb that happens. It sets up this conflict with the Peril Partnership, which is going to kind of run through the season in a couple episodes. But mostly is an excuse, really, to kind of say bye. It feels like to some people.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, shore leave. We don't really have a good place for you this season, but like, we know you love shore leave. Here's some shore leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real epilogue-y.
Yeah.
It's got an epilogue feeling to it. The main plot that focuses around Agent Kimberly McManus and S-464 is very Doc Hammer being a little stinker.
Yeah.
Like just, nobody liked these characters. Nobody wanted them. So I'm going to take that as a challenge.
Yeah.
And that stuff kind of works. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's do. We open with a Grand Theft Auto Vice City reference, a game that would have come out when the boys were 11 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. The kids are playing. They're blasting through the detour sign, like jumping through it, speeding along the highway. And the kids in the back are like, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Flash FM. The boys just being brothers. It's real cute.
Yeah. Rusty is trying to work on his speech and is upset by the fancy driving that Brock is doing. Says, hey, can you warn me when you're going to go Mad Max? And he is trying to throw a bunch of $50 words in there, wondering if he can get away with pulling a Gettysburg Address, throw in the word score in.
The answer is no.
Nope.
Don't do that. There's a bunch of dead cows on the road. This is Close Encounters of the Third Kind reference. These are fake dead cows meant to scare people off.
Yeah.
Which would do it if I went to somewhere and there's dead cows all over the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is that not a wrong neighborhood?
Dude, cows are hard to kill.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you my my pitch for a Japanese role-playing game where you age in reverse? So you start off at highest level and you're fighting the Dark Lord. And then as you go through, you lose levels and fight weaker enemies. And the end boss is you're just a guy, but the end boss is a cow.
I didn't know the end boss detail, but I have heard your idea for this.
Yeah. Like I was just thinking like, man, if I had to kill a cow, like that would be the equivalent of killing Zeromus as Cecil. Like
if I didn't have one of those No Country for Old Men guns, I wouldn't know where to start. Do you have a reckon on how you start killing a cow, Gwen?
Oh, my only thought is that gun that Javier Bardem carries in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
That would, you had to grind a bunch of pink slimes in my game to get that.
That's easily like a few acts into, like you get that in the third or fourth dungeon, maybe.
Maybe. But it seems useless because it's a gun, but it doesn't have any range. Yeah.
It doesn't take HP, but like if you can get in, insta kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the Jigglypuff sleep attack in Smash Brothers.
Yeah. I would kill him with kindness and poison.
There you go. There you go. Poison would be really good because they'll eat it. They'll eat anything.
Oh yeah.
I think eyes, because if you went for the balls, that's a good way to like get kicked and lose your head.
You don't want to stand behind any hoofed creature, I don't think.
No. So anywho, Brock picks up this inflatable cow and throws it. It bounces away. It's very funny. And a bunch of OSI units come out in clean suits. And Hunter pulls off his mask. They're basically just putting on a show. And the camera reveals they return to the compound.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. This is the summit.
Yeah.
We show them all in this their tent there. There's a Fudgy the Whale cake that says, have a whale of a good summit. I don't know who sent this. It's real good.
I gotta just somebody's wife. I assume they're just like, I want this summit to go well. Because this is all based around fake pleasantries and just bullshit presentation. So,
yeah. And just one ice cream cake for the entire, 40 people there. It's very good.
And we get a lot of very good little interactions with folks. We have Dean boring Dr. Girlfriend with his college stories, just kind of trying to, pour his heart out, but she's just kind of, anding through it. She says, hey, you should join this frat. Your dad was in there. You're a legacy. You should get in. And instead of taking the advice, Dean is just upset that, his dad hid this from him. He doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
They were at the compound. He couldn't have just found an item that led to a lie instead. This, oh God, the plot in this episode is driving me nuts the more I think about it. It just none of it connects.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. There's also a bunch of little grace conversations that don't do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've talked about this before on the network recently, but something I've become very sensitive about is characters in fiction telling each other whatever trivia fact the author just learned.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we cut over to Shore Leave, like telling Brock and Phantom Limb about James Bond using this like repainted BB gun. It wasn't a Walter PPK like it famously was. This is just like an IMDb trivia thing that decided to get filtered through a character in the show.
Yeah.
It's not that interesting to me. I don't know.
I like Brock and Lim's reaction to it. They're, it's like, oh God, the scales fall from their eyes. Like, oh, it's just, how can that be? I like it is their disappointment that this hero of theirs, was using a BB gun, in the movie is cute, but that's about it.
I mean, they're trying to draw a similarity between Brock and Phantom Limb, that they're both, they have this in common.
Yeah.
Here, I just don't think they do anything with it. Like there's no punchline, and it's again, it just feels like a little bit of a stunt, like a flex from Doc Hammer with this trivia.
Yeah.
I do like watching Ward calling out the beginning of the summit with the out of key trumpet playing. That running joke is really good.
I probably should have practiced.
just like, so, because you look at one of those things and you're like, there's no buttons on it. Of course you can just blow it. No, definitely not.
And Rusty gets up and addresses the two parties, and he's using way too many awkward big words to introduce the event, including one of the college words that Dean gave him. But Dean, excuses himself. He's heard the speech too many times.
Yeah, he's going to wander away. Hank gets pulled away by an OSI agent. This is going to give them their subplots for a little while. We go over to the reception tent where all of like the kind of guards go. They're not part of the summit here. So the guild stranger with the plastic dome over his head and Agent Kimberly McManus meet each other there. The guild, I didn't realize this guild agent was voiced by James Adomian.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he comes on to do voices later, but I didn't realize he was here this early.
They brought him in. I think that he was who they got to do Phineas Phage after Hader moved away. Yeah. There have been a couple of Adomian roles before this.
I always happy to see James Adomian. I like James Adomian a lot. They're going to get to it. They shows them looking into each other's eyes and getting horny.
Yeah, we get
visually.
Uncomfortably so. His brain pulsates.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, his brain pulsates and we get probably 10 minutes of Kimberly licking her lips. Extreme close up on it. Yeah.
Conservatively 10.
Quite horny. The OSA agent takes Hank out to the hangar. This old hangar is full of jackets.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, so the commentary, and I should have noticed this, the commentary is like, oh, this is from the jacket video. I assume this was a joke about everybody being here and like throwing your jacket on a bed.
Okay.
And they all just threw them into the same place.
Mm.
So it's just how many people were here.
That Easter egg doesn't make a ton of logical sense.
They're props. They're leftover props. And like the compound burned down.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that the jackets didn't burn down. Like it's kind of cute.
Well,
but
the big pile of jackets was supposed to be the thing that made the fire worse or started it. Remember that? Like that was a thing that was cut out.
I like that much better.
Didn't happen. So yeah, they go into this little hangar here, and we find out that OSI agent is Dermot.
Yes.
With a horrible jarhead haircut.
Yeah. Dermot has to have the mullet. He's got to have the scraggly hair. But he's still.
I don't see Dermot as a military man.
It makes a little bit of sense. A lot of my Dermots went on to go to the military.
I guess I can see that. He's just so all talk.
Yes.
I can see a Dermot like washing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what military organization is going to put up with a Dermot? Like the U.S. Army would. But I guess I wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. But you learn he's a legacy case in this. Like he is not in on his own merits. That's true. So he's still early on in his career. He could wash out. But
yeah, that's true. He just disappears, right? We don't get any more Dermot for the season.
This is it. This is Dermot.
He'll probably get a goodbye in the movie.
Yeah.
It was confirmed that Shore Leave gets a goodbye in the movie, which I'm happy about.
Nice.
I love Shore Leave. Shore Leave.
Yeah. So, but they're pulled over to there. He reveals himself as Dermot. Following Dean's plot, he goes out to Ben's cabin. It's a bit of a disappointment that they didn't get J.K. Simmons back to do Ben. But again, we do have, Rhys Darby here, and a red helper who can talk answers the door. Says like, I've heard a lot about you, but does not refer to Dean by name.
Yes, which will be important for later, for the lore bomb that comes about here. That isn't done a lot with, but is a cool bit. You go back to the summit, Rusty can't keep control. Everyone's already fighting. They're arguing about the finer points of details of this stuff. I like the bit in the commentary where they're talking about how as kids they wanted to make stores and do treaties and stuff like that. Like I was that kid as well. I used to make little towns,
of course,
action figures, and they'd set up different shops. Stuff.
Man, just like the little kids, they want control. They want to play as bosses, and they want to engage in commerce.
Yes,
yeah,
very much so. All I wanted to do was like have Optimus Prime sell Orko like insurance.
Oh man. But they're arguing about how many OSI agents should be dispatched to deal with a level 5. So like, hey, just like what's the mismatch here? We get lots of fun little one-liners of Hunter basically saying the same joke over and over again. You are blank, you're doing something disgusting, and telling me it is blank something mundane, right? Oh, you're pissing on my leg and telling me it's raining.
Yeah. Yep. Just does all the variations about that. It is only a rhetorical tactic.
Yes.
Is just to yell that there. Another way you can tell this is a Doc episode is because it's really sympathetic to the Guild.
Yes.
They're portrayed as more or less correct in this, which I think kind of shows Doc's sympathies for this. Like I'm not taking a side one way or another. The Guild's really fun. Doc has always been very interested in the Guild.
Yeah.
Here.
And their bureaucracies. One of them, I forget who, says like, "Oh, a level 5 is like a guy named Mr. Cold."
It's Dr. Mrs. the Monarch does.
Yeah, it's a guy named Mr. Cold with a snow cone maker on high. Like which is funny because hey, that's your husband.
Yeah, we know that's not true.
Yeah,
your husband who killed all these people.
Yeah,
is a level 5.
Yeah,
I love that the OSI is here under the OSI, what is it called? The Aggression Envoy.
Yep.
There with a little logo of like the superhero and the little villain next to a little globe thing. It's such a good logo.
There's real good logo work this season. Doc Hammer does a good job with that.
We get a goodbye to Snoopy, of course. Snoopy's there to read the minutes, talking about precedent, this level 5 arching between Dr. Deep and Furious Red, end up leveling 2 city blocks, but Dr. Mrs. the Monarch counters that the Dr. Deep was using unlicensed weaponry.
Yes.
So they're just going back and forth.
Yeah.
No progress is being made. Weird, all the Fallout connections that keep happening in Venture Brothers. Like Red Helper talks about how there are multiple helper robots and talks about there's just Mr. Handy's.
Yep.
Down to the commercials and down to the iconography. It's Mr. Handy from Fallout.
It is.
Yeah.
I love the idea that there was this revolution of like domestic robots in the history of this, enough years ago that it makes sense that they're not around, and it like led to this, basically, horror, what to them would be a horrible atrocity, which is the Great Recalling, right?
Yeah. We go back to this 50s, like nifty 50s commercial, basically. About these robot servants, which would be great. We want robot servants.
I'm doing my best. I've got a robot vacuum. I've got a robot litter box.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the worst chore that hasn't been taken over by a robot?
The worst.
Yeah. What would you have a robot for?
What would I mean, laundry, because I fucking hate it. But it's not the worst chore.
Yeah.
I think like cleaning the toilet?
Toilet cleaning robot.
Surely there are robots who can do that.
Those Scrub and Bubbles are portrayed as robots on the label, but they're not.
What?
They're little guys on the thing. I guess they're not robots. They're sentient. They have blood.
No, I mean they're not robots.
Oh, they don't know what they're supposed to be. They're little smiling fellas.
They're little,
But
they're little brushes. They're little brushes with eyes. See the toilet. Like I'm fine scrubbing the toilet. Like you can just stay on top of that with a toilet brush next to it, and it doesn't get too gross. What I want. Something to fold the laundry. I don't necessarily care about, putting the stuff in and transferring it over to the dryer. What
Agreed.
I want, what I want is a tub scrubbing, like a tub and shower scrubbing robot. Like if I can get a tub Roomba, I would like that quite a bit.
Have either of you considered not folding your clothes?
Yes, I in fact do that most weeks.
Yeah, me too. It works out pretty well because I just work from home.
Yeah, sometimes my for a week my my hamper will be my dresser. I don't feel great about it, but yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. If you're not going to a job where you have to have like a press shirt, I generally find folding clothes to be a waste of time. I also don't like it though, so that's why I don't do it.
Did either of you grow up in a domestic situation where everything was ironed?
No. We did family laundry day on Sundays, so we'd watch The Simpsons and all gather around The Simpsons to fold laundry.
Oh, that sounds pleasant.
Yeah, it sounds very sweet.
My grandma is, when she was a little bit more physically capable, crazy about ironing. She would iron jeans, iron sheets and pillowcases, every single thing. Because she lived with us a lot. Grandparents lived with us for a lot of the time. Every single thing was ironed. And it was weird for me to go in a world where not everything had that crease. I haven't ironed shit. Last thing I ironed was like maybe a shirt before a wedding, before a funeral, and maybe a perler bird thing I made 10 years ago.
I think that's the good use for it.
Yeah.
I do not like how iron things look. They're really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like you burn your clothes, but you can also very easily start fires.
Yeah.
I do not care for an iron.
Not one bit.
It's great though. I get to be an absolute piece of shit slob. It's awesome. I'm very lucky that way. I just get to look like garbage. Like a plumber came and fixed my bathtub for 6 hours yesterday, and I hadn't taken a shower in long enough that I felt like I should go to jail. Like I smelled so bad.
Oh no.
And it was just because I'm just hanging around my house and I can't get the shower to work and I don't feel like fucking with it. And yeah, it was bad. I should have been summarily sniped for my stink. It was incredible. Nothing happened. It was awesome. You can get away without consequences as an adult sometimes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yes, I would like a helper, even if they would just scrub the tub.
Or as a friend.
Oh yeah.
These ones had been stepped down. These ones are basically speaking spells.
Yes.
They say,
Yeah.
The mankind turned on the helpers because a baby ripped out one of its eyes and almost choked on the eye. And this basically got telephoned to helpers strangle babies.
Yeah.
It never shows that happening. The helper in the thing just kind of gasps when its eye is pulled out, but it feels like it was just a moral panic.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a, terrible accident, that resulted in all these being recalled, all of them except for, this helper, which has been modified, and Helper Prime, obviously different creatures, the two of them.
Red Helper has such a wonderful way of phrasing things. Just every line lays out. It's very much like Breakfast of Champions, where it's a description of human activity that doesn't sound human at all.
Yes.
Yeah. We took care of menial things so they could pursue loftier aspirations, like trying to be more attractive, enjoying liquors, and having adult birthday parties.
Yeah. It's very, that's a very astute observation, Gwen. It's very Breakfast of Champions. Red Helper is a cyborg. Red Helper has human parts for some reason. He mentions that Ben helped him, gave him a voice and a purpose until he went away, and Dean thinks he died. But then he reveals, no, he went to shred the heavies at Papatawi. He's a snowboarder. He's originally, his human parts were from New Zealand, but he does not belong in there because he's an abomination.
Right.
He says there's a little bit of a thing with Dean also coming to terms with his cloneness, which is a little bit well-worn territory with the last time he was over at Ben's house.
Yeah. And man, living with Red Helper would be, to a certain degree, maybe this would go overboard and get annoying, but he's just so concerned with human comfort. Like, humans make piddles and poopers. Would you like Thin Mints and some comfortable sweatpants?
I'll heat them up to 5, you being warm-blooded, I'll heat them up to 5 degrees above your body temperature. It'll feel great.
It would be a nice treat, I think, is the exact
exactly. It'll be a
phrase.
nice treat. Yeah, it's very cute. We cut over to the summit. I really like how they don't show the connective tissue on the summit. We just keep clipping back to it, like escalating. So with Phantom Limb and Shore Leave about to fight, they're putting on all this pool equipment. And like the great idea is they used to have these pool battles, but there's no pool here anymore. That's so good. They'll have to dress up in the equipment and fight. It's very good.
Oh, but the inciting incident was Brock insulted his lineage. I think it's Dr. Aziz says, it's Dragoon. To be fair, and I'm being as delicate as a flower here, your grandfather did have singular tastes.
That's so good. Yeah, very funny. Yeah. Rusty can't find anything that mentions this, but Dragoon says this is their way. Yeah, this is just tradition.
Yeah. And it cuts away before the fight starts. Usual Venture Brothers kind of move.
Very Doc.
Yes.
Like Doc does not care about fights.
Right. Cut back over to the hangar. Dermot and Hank are climbing up these mountains of jackets. And Hank doesn't understand how Dermot got into the OSI without any military training. He's got that strip mall jujitsu kind of credit. But that's about it.
Yeah. This is where he mentions he was a legacy. He got in basically because dad put in a good word. Hank still does not know. This feels like this would have been a good thing for this episode to accomplish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe spilling that bean. They get to the top, and as they're there, S-464 and McManus walk in together to bone. And the boys hide to spy.
Yes. Just giggling because they're seeing adult stuff happen.
Yeah. Back with Dean, he's showing Red Helper a video of Helper Prime pranking Billy, pushing him into the pool. I hate this, actually. I wanted to see what you guys think. He says, like, sometimes you can kind of tell what he's beeping, but mostly it's like talking to a microwave. No, it's not.
Nope.
People have full conversations with Helper. That's not. And then Dermot started understanding Helper because he hung around with Helper too much.
Yeah.
This is not true. Doc, you fucker. Like, why would you do this? Why would you try to do this reveal?
This bothered me too.
Retro continuity. What do you call that? But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that
it's
not,
not
is directly contradictory to evidence we have.
Yes.
And it's less cool. It's in pursuit of nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's just throwing away this really magical, weird little moment, aspect of the show that was really fun and just kind of worked. And just toss it in the garbage for no reason.
It's one of the best jokes in the series. Brock talking with Helper and Helper quoting Maya Angelou.
Yeah, I don't think Maya Angelou was talking about this girl. And if I see her again, I'm going to put her down for good. Like, it's so good.
Yeah,
like I love it so much. And then that moment where, and it's a Doc episode where Dermot realizes he can talk to Helper.
Yeah.
Like Doc was playing with that, and he just decided, like, the one thing that's coming through in this commentary is he seems so fucking over it.
It's pretty
like
checked out.
The amount of contempt he has for his own creations is incredible.
Yeah.
When he was talking about nobody cares about the Dean stuff, I think he's just projecting. I think he's just sick of the whole thing.
He's so bored of Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm bored of lots of this stuff.
He's bored of everything but the guild, adding more lore and bureaucracy to the guild, it seems like.
Yeah. And he's the biggest OSI fan I know.
Yeah. It just really frustrates me that he's just like, because Red Helper's like, oh, he seems like a great guy. And he's like, no, he's just a dumb machine.
No,
it's like talking to a microwave. Like, that doesn't sound like you, Dean.
Yeah.
He made you a goddamn dream catcher. Like last episode of stuff he found in the kitchen. He's sentient.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
and it's like, this seems like something that would have been caught in script review. You want to ride the knife's, you're riding a knife's edge when you talk about this, because you don't want to be like, oh, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder, hitting the same rib, making two different notes.
This isn't like that.
Yeah, it's pretty important characterization, especially because, like, as much as there is development, it is, learning that this funny beeping, kind of like beaker stand-in, like has an internal life and cares about this family, but is constantly rejected and not getting what he wants. Like, it's frustrating to feel like I care about Helper more than this show does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big bummer.
Yeah.
Big bummer.
But Red Helper lays out like, oh, Ben modified him with organics. So I'm neither a robot nor a man. In a way, I'm like you. And this leads to a little bit of hemming and hawing and misunderstanding. When Dean's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, oh, I thought you would, you would have been told. But Dean reveals like, oh yeah, I know. It's just like, I don't understand, what you're getting at here.
Yeah. And he eventually goes, oh no, I know that I'm a clone, but I'm a clone of me. You're something totally new.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, we were both made by great men, compelled by love and guilt. We're second chances, which is a very sweet line, even if it does, tread the same territory that Ben told him.
Yes.
Before.
Mm-hmm.
Very cute scene where S-464 and McManus are talking about killing everyone at the summit, and then Hank does a little adventure montage to stop them. It's very funny. He uses a base that shoots fire down at them, calls his dragon down to fight him there. We get a little callback to his love of gymnasts. Forever 19-year-old Dominic Dowes.
It's very good. Just his fascination with these gymnasts just really brings to mind. There's a running joke in King of the Hill where Bobby is he's infatuated with I forget which gymnast, one of those 90s gymnasts who just like that is his crush, and it comes up a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember names,
but
I remember what the joke you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a harder stance.
Funny.
I'm going to take a harder stance on this scene. I think they've done this scene before too many times.
Ooh.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Just like the fantasy, bunch of references from sci-fi pulp culture, all in the just in a blender. I think it's the gnomes that really started to bother me. It's just like, oh, and here's some fantasy gnomes just to prove that Hank is lost in his own head. Like, yeah, you kind of already laid that on really thick.
It's pretty like the thing that goes too far to me is nobody, especially nobody born when Hank was born, would have any affection for David the gnome, which that seems to be a reference to. What a fucking terrible cartoon.
I didn't read those as David the Gnomes. I just thought they were little dwarfs, little dwarf mans. But I would agree that Hank doesn't have like a fantasy connection. Like, I don't think he'd be into little dwarf men or David the Gnome.
Yeah.
I agree that this, and I think it's also a cutting room thing because they were trying to contrast this with a Dermot fantasy.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. That got cut.
Would just be violence.
Yeah. So like the idea of like, I could see this working, Hank's, ridiculously over the top action pulp thing. And then Dermot's like Doom.
Yeah.
Doom guy style slaughtering these guys would kind of work.
But in the end, it's cute. It's fine. Really what I hate though is the pee-pee belt.
Yeah. Don't care for that one bit.
It's really artificial. It's really contrived. So it's just, somebody might be listening to this as service. I don't care. There's this little bit as they're watching this thing happen, where McManus gets upset because 464 has pee-pee on his belt. And the boys just think it's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's played as such. It turns out this is a P and letter P, and a letter P stands for the Peril Partnership. That's going to be the whole plot.
Yeah.
Which
you would never say that PP on your belt.
Yeah, why do you have PP on your belt? And also, maybe if the Perilous Partnership did anything in these 8 episodes, I would feel less iffy about this. But the Perilous Partnership is just like a go nowhere plot, like even worse than the OSI stuff in season 4.
Yeah,
it doesn't really do anything. You would say like, why do you have that emblem on your pants, on your belt? Why do you have that symbol? You would never call it PP.
No.
Yeah. It's real sitcom-y. It feels
very
artificially
like,
sitcom.
very, very much so. I do like the them trying to guess what counts as second base for a dude.
Yeah, like what action on a dude is second base? I got no reckon.
Yeah, I don't know what a second base is for a dude. I mean, I guess like just touching the chest,
butt touch,
but maybe. But then like, what happens when we touch a lady butt? What base is that? Like 2.5?
I think the base system might be arbitrary.
It might be a juvenile view of sex.
I think it's outmoded. Yeah, possibly.
Huh. It's also it doesn't take into account advanced really good bases like 7th or 8th base.
Yeah,
like baseball does not contain sex very well. Like you're not lived until you've gotten to 9th base. It takes some getting used to, but it's real good.
Caught a pop fly last night.
Yeah, I got a foul ball, if you know what I mean.
Oh no.
But Gary, I think it was you. I think this is from the Descent episode of Unfilmable. You made a metaphor about it's as if somebody hit a home run and got a home run in a different stadium. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot and what it would take for that situation to actually play out. It's a lot, Gary.
I wish I had thought that a better or a more plausible metaphor would be rolling a bowling ball and hitting a strike in a separate lane.
Yeah, you landed there, but the baseball metaphor is captivating.
It requires a very strong baseballman. You can almost do it in Super Baseball 2020.
Ooh.
You can go real far in that. So, because you're a robot.
We cut back to the summit. Hunter is insisting that all mad scientists, whether or not they are officially a part of the guild, should be the guild's responsibility. Dr. Girlfriend makes a pretty good point. They're not angry. They are mentally ill. So it's, it's not as simple as Hunter is making it sound.
Yes. And then Hunter says, yeah, but they're not a good guy. And this is apparently terminology. This is also the first time this has ever come up. Ramandal's like, oh, good guy, are really saying things like that.
Like previously, like it came up, like somebody said good guys and bad guys and said, whoa, we call it protagonist, antagonist. That was like that was like a House of the Mummies kind of thing. Yeah.
But it was never.
I mean, it is in a legal negotiation.
Yeah.
Where I can see that it can, the room's a little hotter on that topic in this particular instance.
Yeah, that makes sense. They continue fighting. I love Shore Leave is mad dogging him here, and I just love him doing it. He's like, he's staring me down. He's like, no, I'm smizing at you, smizing tie style. So good. God, I love Shore Leave.
Have you seen videos or photos of somebody like of specifically Tyra Banks smizing or anybody doing it? It's the most psychotic thing. If somebody did that to me in real life, I would call a doctor on them.
I believe Tyra Banks once pretended to have rabies on her talk show. If I'm remembering the correct person.
Tyra Banks rabies. It doesn't autocomplete.
Okay.
Remember when? Wait. Yashar Ali on Twitter. Remember when Tyra Banks told her studio audience she was feeling under the weather because she'd been bitten by a dog and then pretended to proceed she had rabies?
That video, if you can find it, is it's worth.
I'm watching it right now. She spits up a bunch of foam. Wow.
There are split opinions on the McElroys surrounding this network. Not gonna dive into that. One of my favorite of their earlier projects was Justin and his wife Sydney. They on their show about television, where they had talked about Model Land a lot, or they had talked about Tyra Banks stuff a lot. They did like a read through of Tyra Banks's books Model Land.
Oh no.
Okay.
And it is some of the most unhinged stuff I've ever heard.
It's wow. Yeah, I had no idea about this. My ex-wife used to watch Tyra Banks, so I did not know about the rabies thing, but I had seen smizing, and I was familiar with the concept of Tyra mail. like in the reality show of the Tyra Banks show, you live in a dorm and then you get a letter from Tyra Banks every once in a while that's called Tyra Mail. And everyone goes absolutely apeshit. It's like, I'm sure the PAs are just like, you're a kid on Christmas and you just got 10 Nintendo 64s. Like everyone's like, Tyra Mail. It's a little bit like they're freaking out over Ohungi. Like they're just like losing it. It's very funny to see.
Yeah. Huh. But yes, it is a very funny pull here. So Dean is trying to get Red Helper out of his bubble, saying like, "Hey, you know, you don't need to lock yourself away from the world."
To what? Like we don't. I mean, I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to Dean and to the writers, right? Like, what is he having him go out into the woods to do?
Yeah.
He lives with Ben. It's not like he's living alone or anything. Mm-hmm. Like you need to get out there and walk it through abandoned woods.
Maybe,
I this doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But Red Helper is terrified that he's going to be stoned to death by religious fundamentalists for not being mentioned in their books.
Yeah. Which is cute. Mm-hmm. Like it's a funny line. It just is, I don't know what Dean's endgame is here.
Yeah.
We go back to the jacket pile where McManus is getting dressed, just being real mean. She's like, "You're being so cold about this," to 464, who says his amygdala has been rerouted through his cerebral cortex. He can't not be cold. And she's like, "Oh, you ruined everything with your PP belt." She keeps calling it a PP belt because of contrivances.
Yeah.
Here. And Dermot, they're talking about this. He's like, "Oh, I don't know why this is such a big deal. Like, she can't understand how complicated our plumbing is down there." This thing also felt a little bit like Doc Hammer telling on himself.
Yeah, if
he pisses everywhere.
Yeah,
I think we have evidence that he just pees everywhere
and talks about it in commentaries all the time. Just like constantly pissing the bed, pissing sinks. Pissing in sinks at parties.
Still can't get over it.
Yeah, insisting that Helper's a microwave. But yeah, you cannot get piss on your belt.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Dab. Dab.
Dab on them, huh?
Yeah. Dab. You don't dab. You should dab.
Oh man, that just shaking ain't enough. Yeah. And Hank says, "I don't know, man. What if you were sliding into third base and it was all hosed down?" Yeah,
no good. Hank says they're gonna deal with that the way that they did back in the day, by tattling. So they're gonna tell people.
Yeah.
Back at the cabin, Red Helper thanks Dean for trying to help him, but basically he's like, no, I'm an abomination, but in a good way. I don't have to think about souls or where we'll go when I die. When I go and I'll die, this doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And Dean is disappointed. He's like, "Oh, you've given up on this." And he counters like, "No, I'm liberated. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything to die for. I just enjoy my time here with Ben." Mm-hmm. We have Netflix, Skins. Have you seen Skins? What's Skins?
I've never seen Skins. He describes it as a show where people pretending to be British kids do drugs and have sex.
Gwen, do you know Skins?
Do you guys know the co-creator of Skins sometimes hangs out in the Slack?
Yes, I did know that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Shout out to Jamie.
Jamie. I knew that Jamie created a show. I forgot it was Skins.
Yeah.
Well, I feel bad
when he was a teen.
Oh, I don't feel too bad. Like, you can't watch every show,
I suppose.
But that's all. Yeah. Shout out to Jamie. Yeah. I'd forgotten about that.
I have never actually, I watched a little when I was a teen and I would just, pop on BBCA and see what's on there, but never really got into it. My bandmates have been watching it and they tell me there's an episode where Napalm Death shows up. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Jamie Britton.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, I get a special little thrill when a real famous enjoys our stuff.
Yeah.
Not just the middle class internet creatives. Who just as lower middle class internet creatives.
Yeah,
can sometimes attract people in the real industries.
Yeah,
rad. But anyway, it's a very cute little moment. Just some random TV show that Red Helper got really interested in.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And he says,
I love at the end where he's leaving, like, promise me you'll give Skins a chance. I love that so much.
Yeah. Well, also like the little bit like, as Red Helper is describing his contentment, right? Just I really enjoy my situation here. I've got Skins, I've got Ben, it's incredible. And Dean's like, really? Like, well, incredible's probably overselling it, but Skins is pretty good.
Yeah. Very, very cute. It's also like a philosophy I'm pretty sympathetic to.
Oh yeah.
Like tightening your scale, tightening your scope is a good recipe for happiness.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. The something I remember is from a Tim Heidecker office hours thing where some chud called and was like just going on about right-wing chud shit, Great Replacement, all this stuff. And Tim basically was like, you need to tighten your scope, like find something you like to do, find friends, find, a girl who likes you or a guy who likes you or anybody who likes you, like start worrying about yourself a little bit. And like, I think that, you don't want to be an ostrich with your head in the sand about bigger things, but also like that is a tried and true recipe for happiness. Like work from the ground up.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way down. Like you're going through something rough, make sure you're drinking water, eat a vegetable, move around, like that will help.
Yeah.
And then make sure you're happy, like have people around who love you, support system, all things like that.
Yeah.
And then start worrying about, the fact that the Supreme Court is full of monsters.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
you got to go from the bottom up.
Yeah. It's like the Red Helper deciding to be content, is really resonant. Just a second Kurt Vonnegut poll, but just that quote that I like sometimes just have written on like whiteboards, which is if this isn't good, what is?
Yeah,
like
it's very wise.
Yeah.
Hulu has that documentary now about Kurt Vonnegut, which I'm not going to watch because I know it's going to make me cry.
Yep.
It looks real good.
It's like when I made the mistake of watching Won't You Be My Neighbor on a plane.
Oh no. That movie is quarantined away from me forever. I can't.
It is it's a very sweet movie. Just in, I guess, while things are getting biffed, as Dean walks away, says bye to Helper Model 2. Helper Model 2 says goodbye, Rusty Venture. And then Dean is like, oh, you thought I was. So the canonical from the creators and everybody else in the world but me thought this was obvious, and I'll take the L on this if I have to. They're like, oh, this is implying Rusty was a clone as well.
Yeah.
And I accept that as fact. The time I saw this, I really thought this was implying that Dean was a clone of Rusty.
Yeah.
Like, because that would make a lot more sense for him just calling him Rusty.
They could have gone that way if they had ever followed this up, but I really think it's just a thematic note. Like, oh, you want to know the ultimate thing? Rusty wasn't even the first guy to clone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's the ultimate lie.
Yeah.
Well, and, not only did he not do it, but also you have a lot more in common with your father than you thought. This existential crisis that you've had that started with the Halloween episode and is getting buttoned up here is something you share with your father.
Yes.
It's not something he did to you. That's very emotionally resonant. The way that they reveal it, I find a little confusing.
Yeah.
To me.
I thought it was fine. It just putting it out for me. No.
Okay. Like it made you thought and I'm not saying this in a challenging way, I'm just legitimately asking, like when you first saw the line, you're like, oh, that's implying Rusty was also a clone.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah. And that lined up for me because Rusty never invented anything. Like,
yes.
Of course, like that he wouldn't be capable of making cloning. All of that infrastructure was just brought up, like, well, I mean, earlier in the season when Jonas's plan was, just we'll put my brain in Venturian in Vendetta until we can get the clone farm up and running. Like, oh yeah, Jonas knew about the clone farm. He invented it. He ran it. He knew it.
And
well, that part doesn't feel like a reveal to me. Like I get that part. I just mean like, why would Red Helper think this is Rusty?
Yeah.
If not like that he would be a clone of Rusty. Like why would he assume this is Rusty?
Yeah. Don't know.
That part doesn't make any sense to me.
There was also the like old conspiracy theory, fan theory when the show was first airing that Dean was a clone of Rusty, Hank was a clone of Brock, and that doesn't pan out. I don't even know if the creators ever thought that was truth. But that's mainly why I could never think that way that you thought, Gary, is like that had already kind of been thought and disproven by the creators.
Yeah. It just feels like it to me did not feel like the clearest way to reveal this information.
Oh, absolutely not.
Gary or to Dean.
Yeah.
Like, I would think if Dean heard this, like, oh, he's calling me Rusty, I would think even if Dean was wrong, he would be like, oh shit, does he think I'm a clone of my dad?
Yeah.
And also, wouldn't Rusty have known about Helper?
You would think so. Like Red Helper. Like, it's just, it's weird. This is a sloppily plotted episode, despite things that happen in it are good. But like, yeah, it doesn't, like, that doesn't totally line up in that way.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. I'm fine with it as the text. Like, what actually happens is fine.
Yeah.
But
I also think it's really cool that, not cool. I am absolutely cool with it not being followed up on, because I think it's more of a thematic point than a plot reveal.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not exactly, it doesn't have to be, the weird theme of recording today. It doesn't have to be true to be good. Like it doesn't have to make perfect logical sense to still be worthwhile. It just ends up the leap that Dean makes.
Yeah.
For the emotional moment that I really like, feels a little unearned to me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
So not even unearned, unlike setup.
Yeah.
Like, the math isn't there.
Yeah. So. It's one of those things that like makes sense at first as presented, at least it did for me. And then it falls apart when you think, okay, how does the time scale in Red Helper's mind work where he thinks that Rusty would be a teenage kid?
Yeah. Like, does he not know that time passes?
Yeah.
Of course he does. He watches Skins. Like, he understands time. He does Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, you can't participate in a season of a show without understanding time.
Yeah. No clue.
So, and he's also very clearly intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an idiot. He's not like a semi-sentient thing. Like, he would know.
Yeah.
So just want to be the devil on, or the angel on Doc's shoulder during this season.
Yeah.
And just with a red pen. Like,
just again, it kind of seems like something that would have been caught in script review, but
I don't think they were reviewing each other's scripts at this point.
Nope.
Season 7 is definitely, like, this shows the heights and lows of season 7, I think.
Yeah.
This episode specifically. And, I think probably around season 5 is when you start really feeling the wear and tear of them only having 2 writers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, like, by now, they're clearly burning out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is very good that it makes me think that maybe, like, there are a great many things I like in season 7. If they knew they weren't going to get a season 8, I almost feel like they could have done any of the wrap up stuff they're going to do in the movie. Just do it in season 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this would have been a very different season if they had known, like, oh, this is the last one. But
they didn't have to send those threads forward, because you can tell, on this commentaries they keep talking about season 8 and stuff. I think you're right, Gwen, that this is a thematic reveal rather than a plot one. I also think they would have done things with it.
Yeah.
Like, Rusty would have found out in season 8, that he was a clone. Like, they wouldn't have left this on the table.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As a thing, I don't think. They're creating detail to mine from in the future, which is like their move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go back to the summit, where things are kind of in this awkward calm point. Everybody's just kind of sitting there seething. Talks have entirely broken down. They're at an impasse. Basically, both of them think that they all overreact to everything. There's just no sense in even engaging further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Rusty puts his foot down. I get it. I understand why, you had these pool fights. It's because you're children.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas was a shitty dad. You're not going to get fairness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is about compromise. Like, you're not going to get everything. You might get something.
And then you can go back and brag about how much you got. Like,
for your people.
It's a very real politic kind of approach to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it all works for them. The next morning, everyone's starting to leave. Everyone walks by, congratulating Rusty.
Yeah.
I really love that, just handling his diplomacy. Hunter congratulates Dermot on, bringing this PP business to things. So we're not going to see the OSI do anything about this, but the OSI does know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rusty spots Dean and is trying to brag to his son, like, hey, you need to see how well I did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that, where he's like, I missed it, but I did learn how similar we are and that your dad might have been a worse father than you are. And since that was the theme of the end of his speech, he's like, I thought you said you missed it.
And then Dean tells him he loves him. And I love you, Pop. Has that, I mean, check with both of you. Has that happened? Have the kids told their dad they love him?
No, I do not. Yeah. Maybe in the first 2 seasons in the Innocence era.
Yeah.
But I don't think post Awake Dean and Hank post season 3. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. It's a cool direction from the, Dean kind of getting Rusty. I'm very in the pocket for things that don't just make Rusty an absolute shitbag failure.
Yeah.
I like the silver lining on the dark cloud with Rusty. And this is a nice nod in that direction to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says, why are you wearing sweatpants? That's the button. And because it's a Doc Hammer episode in season 6 and 7, the post-credits thing will not be a joke.
No, instead it's going
to be calling forward to plot shit.
It's going to advance the plot. This is where we learn through Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch correcting Phantom Limb that the PP is not urine. It is in fact it is the Peril Partnership.
Yeah. And should have been, a thing I'm saying, I don't like it in things where characters criticize the work they're in.
Yeah.
That's what's happening here. Dr. and Mrs. Monarch is like, why do you think she would be so upset about just urine? Idiot. But it's like, everyone's an idiot. Everyone is being stupid. And the joke of the episode is that the audience would take that.
Yeah.
Forward, which is irritating to me. So good stuff happens. In it. There are a good number of moments I think are really good and funny. I really like the summit. I like the guild representatives and the OSI representatives.
Yeah, if I'm just gonna take a scalpel to this episode, I'm just gonna take the summit parts right out. Just gonna smash them together, get a mini-sode out of it. It's wonderful.
Yep. They're a different B plot.
We did also we steamrolled over a really good Dragoon joke. When they're doing the roll call, they're listing everyone's greatest accomplishments. And for Dragoon, they list him as the executioner overseeing the execution of the Iron Infidels. Ooh. And he just goes, I don't remember that.
It's such a genius move to have Dragoon start going senile faster than Red Dragon.
It is.
Like when he comes out and they're congratulating Rusty, he's asleep. It's like sweet old man stuff.
Yeah.
Also, quick note, according to TV Trope's heartwarming page for the Venture Brothers, the I love you pop is in fact the first time we hear an I love you from Dean to Rusty.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I've got no reason to distrust it. Yeah, I just everything kind of leads up to that moment for me is the moment of understanding. Like that line, where Dean kind of summarizes the similarities between the relationships between these fathers and sons, and Rusty's misunderstanding. Just those little resonances between those two plot lines, and just the sweet. What's that?
I'm just noticing, is there even a reason for Dean and Hank to be here?
No. Why did they come?
Why did they come to the summit? Yeah, probably. Just like, we're going back home.
Yeah.
They didn't stress that enough.
Yeah. Contrivance.
Yeah, contrived.
It's a contrived episode.
There we go.
Yeah, but the I love you pop. I don't know. They're just for all of the slop and the kind of scatteredness of the episode, and some of the yes, we are relying a lot on Rhys Darby's charmingness and the phrasing and all of that. For all of that, the emotional core there at the very end that hits pretty well for me. Yeah,
it's a great moment. Yep. They didn't get to it the way I wanted them to. But it's a great moment. And it was a crime. It's the best kind of crime where they're trying to do too much.
Yeah.
I get that. And it's fine.
Yeah.
But it is kind of, this season is in a real meander.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue. We got that, as Gwen, as you mentioned, the Peril Partnership storyline, which does not really go anywhere. And then the end of this, which is the tenning or whatever, which is a big bummer to me. I hate that season finale. I was in bed thinking about this show and season finales. There's nothing, I think, on retrospection, if I take fully like jokes, but then also heart and kind of like emotional resonance, I don't think the show gets better than Operation Prom.
Yeah.
And I think you can make an argument that it gets just kind of like, there are a lot of episodes after that are really cool. I love the season 6. I love the New York era, but it does really kind of spin its wheels after that.
Yeah.
That ending is so sweet and perfect. Characters all come to like really, really well earned emotional climaxes. And then it just kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was trying to remember if there's an episode I think is like a capital G good episode after this. And there is one. It's the Terminus Mandate, which, Gary, you know the one.
Which I don't know by the title.
The arching episode.
That's real good.
Yeah, that's like the best episode that you have left.
I like that. I like Unicorn Activity a lot. I like Monarch doing the big villains program for St. Cloud. I think there's a lot of good jokes.
Oh yeah, that's the next episode. Oh, that is a fun episode.
That's a fun episode.
That's like the funniest late game episode, probably.
Yeah. Just it smells like pineapple. Yeah. It's but like they're not connected. They're not adding. It's just kind of a second King of the Hill reference. There's there was the last episode of King of the Hill that aired on Fox. That was like, they realized, okay, well, this is going to be the finale. There are episodes that come after it. That if you're watching them in order, comes after this very sweet moment where Bobby and Hank have a lot of, they realize they've got so much in common with the appreciation of meat, of beef, right? And then you get like this, a shot at the end that mirrors the very opening shot, of the entire town of Arlen. And then you get like the episode where the principal gets fired and has to move in with Bill. You get the episode where yeah, you get the episode where Khan, it's revealed that he's bipolar.
That's not a bad episode, but it shouldn't be after that grill episode. No,
it's just a bunch of odds and sods, and that's it sticks out in a series that doesn't have any actual like continuity. Like there's no reason for them to for you to think, oh, just anything is out of order, it's fine, whatever. It sticks out there. It's kind of the same effect here in season 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's I tend not to be very sympathetic to the like just kill it thing with TV shows.
Yeah.
But I do like an ending. I do like something going out on its own terms. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just throw away seasons 5, 6, and 7 because there's a lot of great moments in those things.
Yeah.
But it does feel like I think Gwen, I think you're onto it, where like another writer would have brought in a lot of fresh feeling to it. And I understand why they didn't. I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for what I have.
Yes.
But Skins. Skins. Promise me you'll give Skins a go. Gwen, where can people find you online?
The Slack, definitely the Slack, around Duckfeed in adjacent. If you whisper my name 3 times in the Slack, I'll show up in a room. Other than that, I'm in a band, Trash Down Conglomerate. We're about to drop a new single. I know. So I'm just on I'm on the media circuit, just dropping by the Duckfeed, the major listenership here. I know you guys control about 40% of the alternate youth market here.
These two middle-aged men have their finger on the pulse. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just doing whatever I do. You'll see me somewhere.
Nice. People should check out that single. It's good.
Early reviews are
So
very
Summer.
positive. Thank you. Yes, So Over Summer, which, let me just give you a quick note. I saw a Vox headline today that said this might be the coolest summer of the rest of your life. And just think about that going into the song.
That was there was a Simpsons joke about that where Bart's like, this is the hottest summer ever. And Homer's like, correction, it's the coldest summer for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And it is bleak. It's all very bleak, but worry about Skins if that will help your mental health.
Yes.
Yeah. Promise us that you'll check out Skins.
And until next time, all the stuff to do for us. We're patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. Until next time,
go Team Venture.